When I was 13, my cousin and I stole some of my grandma's cigarettes, and I think they were Pall Malls. They were nasty, but they made me feel something I'd never felt before. And of course, it was exciting to be doing something you weren't supposed to be doing at the time. And then it quickly went from there to LSD. Before I had alcohol or anything other than that, it was acid. And the experience that I had with that was, again, something I'd never felt before. And it opened my mind to things that I didn't realize were inside of me and in the world. And I'm never going to be the type of person that's going to say, like, everything is bad, don't do anything, live a completely austere lifestyle. But most of these substances and these drugs and alcohol end up becoming a vice and becoming detrimental to people's livelihoods. So it's really difficult to balance that line, especially when you're so young and you have no guidance and you just jump headlong into things like that. They become something that you become dependent on, and they become an addiction, and you start burying the things that you need to be taken care of in your life. So anyway, most of high school was all drugs, psychedelics, alcohol. Alcohol was there always for many, many years. And then my last experience with psychedelics, I was 19, and I took so much of it that I knew I was never going to be the same. The first time I took it, I knew I was never going to be the same. But the last time I took so much, and I was like, things will forever be different. This has changed me forever. And I didn't like that. And it took me, a long time to get through some stuff that reverberated from that. And there's still things I know 23 years later that are directly from that. But after that, it shifted to cocaine and ecstasy and always partying, always looking outside. Never able to be comfortable with self without these substances. And the cocaine got really bad. And that was one of the hardest to kick. It was even harder than alcohol. Alcohol was tied to so many things that as soon as I made some big shifts in my life, being with different people and making different life choices completely, that was easy to kick. And I have to say, the cigarettes, alcohol, and Coke were all kind of so heavy at one time. What happened is I moved to Alaska, and I basically spent 8 years living in a tent in the woods, and basically a pack of stuff, and that's all I had. And a lot of solitude and a lot of nature. Basically living in an environment like this for 8 years, and traveling and going around the world and seeing how a lot of people live, and basically self-imposed austerity and divorcing myself from a lifestyle that I had lived for a long time. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos before. One of the major catalysts is after getting to Alaska, I climbed this mountain. I was just inspired to climb this mountain. And when I got to the top of it, it was just such a mind-blowing experience. And it was all under my power. I don't even think I had pot at that time. I just climbed to the top of this mountain, and I had a journal. And I had this very overwhelming emotional and spiritual experience. And that was the catalyst of change for me. I knew that I had done that. I had climbed the mountain, and I had put in the effort to experience that. And it sparked something in me, and I continued down that path. And I knew that the drugs and the alcohol were no longer going to give me what they had originally given me, which was basically like a good feeling and a break from my pain. And so I spent the next 10 years of my life living in the woods, traveling the world, climbing mountains, taking on things that were difficult on purpose, like doing things that I know were going to be really hard and really scary for me to do. And every time I would do one of these scary things and just get through it and not die and not be terrified the whole time, it boosted a little bit more in me. I had this confidence, and I could like look back on that confidence when something else challenging or scary came up. I could be like, you know what? Like, I just nailed a Swiftwater rescue course, and I'd never done anything like that before. So I'm pretty sure I could do, I could go talk to this person or ask this beautiful woman out on a date or whatever was terrifying me, those anxieties that come up of regular life stuff where you don't think you're enough, that negative self-talk is just like eating you up inside. So these self-imposed difficulties and challenges, I think, are the key for a lot of us. We live in this really comfortable life that I don't believe we're meant to be in. I believe we're meant to be challenged every single day, and the world isn't giving that to us, so we need to choose to challenge ourselves. We need to go out and do things that are scary and do things that are hard and remind ourselves that we have the ability to overcome things, and the growth is going to come from within. And all of these substances and all of this like outside influence, all these comforts that are telling us that this is the way you're going to feel better and you don't have to worry about your bullshit, it's not the way. The paradigm is shifting, and I think a lot more people are starting to understand that. So it doesn't have to be a literal mountain to climb, but I think we all need to choose these challenges, and we need to climb to the top of these challenges and overcome them and realize that we have it within ourselves to face our pain, to face the scary things, to overcome the scary things, and come out better on the other end. So I challenge you guys to go out and find your own mountain to climb and start stacking those mountains and get your bucket list of mountains, your tick list of mountains that you're going to climb and overcome, and create these challenges that life isn't giving you, so you can start building yourself from the inside out and be meeting the real you and knowing that you're good enough and you can overcome anything. I love you guys, and I think this stuff is the key to the collective moving forward and shifting this paradigm of pleasure chasing, escapism, and this sort of like costuming and mask that we've put on ourselves. I think there's a lot of bullshit out there, and there doesn't need to be. We can overcome the bullshit.